All right, so we've got our connection issues resolved. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm not sure how good the microphone is on this setup. I'm doing this solo tonight, so welcome to the Frosty Drew live stream. I am on site at Frosty Drew. Connection issues have been hopefully resolved. As you can see, next time I need to bring a light because you can see my eyeglasses, and that's about it. And tonight I'm hoping to be able to give you a view of the moon, maybe a couple other things. And in addition to connection issues, the telescope was giving me issues tonight as well, even though I had been out here 3 times prior to validate the telescope worked. Of course, on tonight, it decides to start acting up. Such is life. So we will try and see how things go. And we're going to go from there. So, all right, I see myself on YouTube, so this can't be too bad. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Bear with me while I get things lined up on the moon. It's going to be a little slower than our average tempo because it's just me. Scott's running the big 16-inch tonight, and we've got one other telescope set up in the yard. So let's see what we can do. I think one of these nights we will go through and talk to you guys about how all of this gear is configured and set up. If that's something that's interesting, if not, maybe it'll kind of inspire you to do something in astronomy. So, still getting the telescope set up for the 3rd time. So bear with me, and we'll go look at the moon. All right, slewing over to a star near the moon, and we'll do an alignment over there, and then we'll settle on the moon and hopefully see some craters. And we'll look at the terminator, which is the line where the light to dark transition happens. If anybody's curious, tonight it's basically perfectly clear. It's about 48 degrees, and the wind has died down nicely. There's a light breeze, but not too much. Telescope's pointed in roughly the right direction, so that's a good sign. We'll see how things go from here. All right, we at least got a solution for that position. So unlike a lot of our telescopes, the telescope that we're using for this live stream event tonight is fully computerized, which sounds great until you realize that you can't just grab it and point it at the moon. It's like the easiest object in the sky to find for a human, but for a computer, when the telescope hasn't yet been aligned, well, it's not the easiest thing in the world to find. So that's what's taking the time here. It's crazy when you go down to a dark place like this. All right, this should be our final alignment to the moon. We'll be able to take our first picture. Then I have to figure out how to get the pictures onto the stream, which shouldn't be too bad. All right, let's see what we've got. 1 second picture. I don't have my big desktop that you normally see me sitting at for the live streams in the guest bedroom / office / storage room. So doing this all with a laptop and an extra monitor out in the yard at Frosty Drew. All right, so I got a very overexposed moon, and we'll go from here. And I think we can get the Raspberry Pi into our live stream here and start sharing the screen. At least that's what I'm hoping. So bear with me for 1 more minute while we set something else up. Let's go with that. So the idea here is we're doing this tonight as a test, and hopefully if this goes well, which it hasn't gone poorly, it hasn't gone great, but it hasn't gone poorly, we can do this for the first hour of all of our summer sessions, and kind of have that as an intro for people who are interested to come out. Our summer sessions actually lead off with a solar program during the day. We actually have views of the sun for people who get here before the sun sets. So we'd probably do some of that and then take a break while it gets dark, and then start the stream again for the first part of our actual nighttime program. Well, the Raspberry Pi does not have a connection to the internet. That we can solve. All right, let's see if this works now. Okay, that's a better. Dun, 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 dun.
I think the photographers are the ones who are most likely to. And you can talk to our director, Scott, or Derek, one of our other ones.
Well, let's see. Google's giving me heartache about not having a camera on the Raspberry Pi. So that was somewhat unexpected because I've had other computers join Google. We use Google Meet as like a framework behind the scenes, and then that's kind of the session that we stream. So awesome. But yeah, well, that works through itself. Maybe we can talk about some of the things that we have planned for this summer. I mentioned our solar program as well as our evening program. So we probably have kind of a split live stream during the summer. It might even be 2 separate live streams, one for the solar program, one for the night program. I'm not entirely sure what we would do there. So well, my theory on how this was going to work. Okay. All right, so I think I can allow. Okay, so there's at least that. All right, so I'm going to set the telescope to present. And we're actually going to present the entire screen. So I think that'll be a little bit easier. So you'll have to bear with me as I as I manage the telescope interface, as well as sending you guys pictures. And then we'll see how things go from there. So let's see, present, and we're going to do the entire screen, as I said. And we're going to pick that screen, and we're going to hit show. So, yay! All right, so we've got the telescope view, and now we can go over here and take a pretty quick picture and see how the moon looks, if the moon's even there. We hope. All right, so as you can see, the moon is still overexposed in our 1/100th of a second picture, so we'll make that even smaller. So what I'm finding is that the astronomy gear for astrophotography is not necessarily the best stuff for live streams. Oh, that's not even fast enough. So let's see. Let's try that. Well, it's getting better. Because there is no auto exposure stuff like you would find on a normal camera. Why is this still overexposed? The moon is not that bright. Did I miss a zero? I think I missed a zero. Oh, I think that's the shortest picture I can take. I've taken pictures of the moon before, so I'm not entirely sure why this one's not working. Yay, more difficulties. Hey, there we go. That looks like the surface of the moon. All right, so we'll have to do a little bit of an adjustment on the telescope over here. And then we will take another picture and talk about what we see. All right. So I need the mount control.
I know earlier this winter that he was not that far away from Taurus.
Let's see if that improved our situation or made it worse. Actually, we might be able to do video here. This would be cool. We can just do a video. Yeah. So normally I can't do video because I'm connected to the camera over the network, and it just isn't fast enough. So we can.
I guess that's a play.
I go to work. Southwest sky right before the sun rises, you'll see a super bright star, much brighter than Sirius. Super bright star there, much brighter than that. That's actually
Oh man, I appreciate anybody who's still with us while I learn how to do this in a very interesting way.
So you can pretty much figure out if it's
All right. Too dark.
I think I looked at the website.
And that's a little better. Let's go for an 8 there.
Another month, 2 a.m.
Okay, that's a pretty decent picture of the moon. We'll brighten it up a little bit more from here.
So in 3
But as we can see in this picture, we have like the, basically the moon fills the field of view, which is kind of nice in that it gives us a nice field of view for the moon. Now, the moon is my weak spot. I don't know a lot about the moon, like specifics. So I will be learning the moon throughout the summer with all of you guys as we do these live streams, and I talk about different things on the moon. We had an excellent live stream 2 weeks ago where we had a very high resolution picture of the moon taken by a telescope here in Rhode Island, but it was an image of the moon, and it was post processed to kind of bring out those types of details. Some of the features we can see here on the moon, you can see here these large areas on the moon that are darker, and those are some of the older crater objects on the moon, and they have been filled in with molten moon, and we call that Mara or Maria, I think is how it's pronounced. And without a map, I don't know which sections of the moon are what, but there's also some very interesting craters on the moon that are quite young compared to these darker areas. This crater down here, you can still see the rays from when the object that created this crater hit the moon, and they emanate in all directions from that point on the moon. And there's a couple of other ones. There's one over here on the edge of the lunar terminator here, and that's another similar crater. Again, I apologize. I'm at the risk of I'm flustered from all of the ear issues from tonight. So yeah, my brain is not working 100% right now for names of craters. One of these is Tycho, and the other one is escaping me right now. And the moon is about 86% illuminated tonight, if anybody was curious. So now that we've been looking at the moon for a little bit and I've been talking, let's see what other things we can do. And it really is just me and my eyeglasses here in the dark. That's pretty impressive. So hopefully, I don't know, we can make this work over the course of the summer and make this pretty fun event for people who can't make it out to the observatory on a Friday night, and give them a little bit of a taste of astronomy. Some other things that are interesting. If you look at kind of the edge of, artificially zoom in. Let's see. Can we do this? Maybe. Hey, look at that. All right. So digital zoom. You can kind of see these craters, and the moon is running away from us, so we'll fix that. But you can see like the crater wall here is illuminated, but the floor of the crater is not. And that actually gives you an idea for how tall the crater walls are on the moon for some of these impact craters. Maybe wrong way. Yeah. So, and you can do that for basically the whole distance down that lunar terminator. Oops, too far. Oh, that was good. Maybe I'll have to slow it down. Let's slow it down a little bit, see if that helps us. So you can see these craters, this crater is facing a different direction than this crater because the shadow in that crater is different. And then this basin is, a smaller impact than the larger basin that it is kind of intersecting with. And then there's some younger craters in those darker areas. Let's see. Oh, that's a lot slower. but it works. If I go the right way. You can see these craters in the area. They actually, you know, expose some of the material underneath that darker material, and you see kind of the layers that are there on the moon. Hang on, what's up?
Is that mount to the limit where it can't go anywhere?
Yes,
Straight up with
it will not do straight up.
Yeah, I think I've lost.
What were you looking at?
My drawing out.
Oh yeah, those will go directly overhead. So you could probably jump down to M13, which will be bright enough. Yeah, it's over kind of above the pond. All right, so back to the moon. Maybe in our lifetimes we'll go back to the moon. That would be awesome. There's also talks of, you know, going to Mars. I will get this right one day. I should really just tell the software to flip this over so it makes sense in my brain. So we'll look along the Terminator here and see if anything else is interesting. I'm going to, all right, bear with me while I move. I have this on a second screen, which is why I'm kind of looking at it sideways from your point of view. Let me move this to my laptop screen, so I'm kind of looking at you guys while we're doing this. So you can kind of see this collection of craters here is, you know, similar to the shadows. You've got the bottom of this crater shadowed, more of this crater shadowed, and you have some mountains or ridges here that are shadowing the moon's surface behind it. Whereas if you look at a crater that's, you know, not that far away from the Terminator, but it's just completely illuminated, and you really don't get a feel for how deep or, you know, what the depth of those craters is. And you can kind of see in this view some, you know, pretty differences in sizes. You got some larger ones, some smaller ones. And if I don't know if it's showing up on the live stream, but it's kind of getting fuzzy, and then it'll get sharp. And that's an artifact of the atmosphere playing games with the directions that the light is coming through the atmosphere from the moon. So the light bounces off the moon, travels through space about, you know, 260,000 miles, and then goes through the 62 miles of atmosphere, roughly. That's kind of where we define the edge of space. The atmosphere extends beyond that, but not really in any significant way. So it's not have done a great job with the alignment because the moon is drifting pretty quickly across the field of view here. But one of the things that's interesting is, to me, I don't know if it'll show up tonight. It shows up on a full moon. Is there's the craters, the south. I think we're looking at the top of the moon here, actually. The telescope flips the view over, but I would have to look at it to see where the camera is. But this, you know, this crater is, you know, really like large, but it's flat, and then it has this, you know, central structure, and that's really, you know, an artifact of, you know, kind of the dynamics of the moon when this crater was formed. The moon was still plastic enough that the central part of that impact zone rebounded into a peak, similar to how like a rock would cause water to rebound when it's dropped into a pond. One of these days I will get this right. You go down for down, but left for right. And you can see that the terrain here is a lot rougher than it is on other areas along the Terminator here. Kind of smooths out as you get towards the equator of the moon. Let's kind of look across the moon and see if anything interesting is there. We'll go over to this crater here. And you can see in this view how that those rays that emanate from that crater really kind of form like the spokes on a wheel type of thing, where that would be the hub of the crater. All right. Well, let's see. All right. Typing in the YouTube chat. Just saying that I hope everybody enjoyed the test tonight, and I hope that in the future we don't have a half-hour worth of technical difficulties, and we can get set up and get our live stream up at 8:30. And hopefully in the summer we'll also have a few more astronomers that can step in to talk to the viewers on the YouTube channel. And we'll also be able to show you different objects and other things that we look at here at Frosty Drew. I will add a light to my kit so that it's more than just the laptop screen that's illuminating me. And I thank everybody who did come tonight, and have a good night, and hopefully we see you all, or see any of you at the Frosty Drew this summer. So with that, I think we're going to end the stream at our 9:30 time, and then we'll go from here and see what next week brings. So again, thank you everybody, and hopefully next week is a little bit smoother.
Yeah, it's tough.